the Germans launched a crucial offensive on the 30th of August. France encountered heavy defences, and for once Rommel's tactics did not pay off. The British had been better prepared, and by the 6th of September, the offensive was over. The RAF had gained superiority in the air and were constantly pounding the German troops. Rommel himself was ill and had to return to Germany for medical treatment. On the 23rd of October, the Allies launched a massive assault. The attack began at 9:30 p.m. with an earth-shattering artillery barrage. Rommel was still in Germany, and on hearing the news, he immediately flew back. The German counterattack failed, and on the 29th of October, Rommel wrote to his wife, "I haven't much hope left. It is obvious that from now the British will destroy us bit by bit." Montgomery now launched an all-out attack named Operation Supercharge. The following advance by the Allies would be the fastest in history. Undersupplied German divisions fought back to no avail. On the 3rd of November, Hitler sent orders to Rommel. In the situation in which you find yourself, there can be no other thought than to stand fast. It would not be the first time in history that a strong will has triumphed over the bigger battalions. As to your troops, you can show them no other road than victory or death. After authorization from his commander, Rommel defied this order, and at 3:30 p.m. on the 3rd of November, gave the order to retreat. Despite a counterattack the following February, the retreat would end in surrender and evacuation for the German and Italian forces. Hitler's hopes of seizing the Suez Canal were shattered. Hundreds of thousands of troops would fight no more. Those that escaped dug in on Sicily. The Mediterranean was now controlled by the Allies, and it would not be long before they would be attacking on the mainland of Italy. Hitler once said, "On land I am a hero, but at sea I am a coward." This unusually frank admission summed up the performance of the German Navy in World War II.
The Battle of the Atlantic was one of the two critical battles of the war against Germany. The other was the Battle of the Eastern Front from 1941 to 45, which tied down 2/3 of the German armed forces. If the Battle of the Atlantic had not been won, Germany could not have been defeated. And critical to this was the Allied ability to move convoys of merchant ships across the Atlantic.
In the early months of the war, Admiral Raeder, the commander of the German Navy, was instructed to let loose his ships on the Atlantic. The convoys of supply ships were harassed by the German pocket battleships. The battle for Norway had seen many of the German Kriegsmarine ships sunk, leaving the surface fleet under strength and able to attempt only limited raids on convoys. Where the surface fleet had limited success, the German U-boats were an ever-present menace in the icy waters of the Atlantic.
The German response to the convoy system, since they now had bases ranging from southern France to northern Norway, was to launch U-boat flotillas out into the Atlantic in what they called wolf packs. The idea behind the wolf pack was that if one U-boat detected a convoy, it would not automatically attack itself, but, using radio, attempt to assemble as many U-boats as possible. And the image is very much that of a pack of wolves surrounding a flock of sheep, harrying them, moving in and out, sorting out the stragglers. Contrary to traditional views, although U-boats could and did attack from beneath the surface, their best form of attack was actually to surface in poor visibility or at night and run in at very high speed. They're much faster on the surface than they are underwater, as fast attack craft, launching torpedoes into the confusion of a convoy at night. And they could be very, very effective in that strategy.
During the early years of the war, German U-boats had achieved a measure of success. In June 1940, new tactics meant 30 ships were sunk despite there being only 6 submarines on patrol. For the submariners of Dönitz's Grey Wolves, this was to be known as the happy time. In July, the commander of U-99, Otto Kretschmer, sank 7 ships on a single patrol. The sinkings of convoy ships were propaganda coups for the Nazis. More U-boat commanders became aces, and their exploits became legends in the Third Reich.